Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a dancing legend from the UK who is now waltzing his way across Texas. His amazing journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team. And the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I have to admit I have 2 left feet when it comes to dancing. I've always admired those people who can do it well. I remember growing up in the 70s and watching John Travolta and Saturday Night Fever, wishing I could be that guy to just clear the dance floor and put on a show. But I never learned it. I never got good at it. That's why I'm envious of people who have it mastered. And speaking of people who have it mastered, John Elsbury with Dance Vision Studios Texas is in studio. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes. Well, I know you're a humble guy and you don't like to brag, but I'm going to urge you to brag. Give us a little bit of your resume.
Well, I guess I've been pretty lucky. In my dancing career, I was All England professional champion and then moved into the theoretical side and the judging. Been involved now with dancing all my life. My parents were teachers of dancing. And I've been able to judge, been invited to judge 8 world championships and numerous competitions around the world. So I'm involved with dancers at every level, from social completely through to highly competitive at the top end. That's really...
And I'm thrilled to have you in studio, and you can tell how modest he is. You're going to learn more about him in a minute. We're going to show you a television piece. But let's talk about your timing to launch Dance Vision Studios Texas, because I can't think of a time in my adult life when dancing has been so cool.
Well, yes, we've been involved. I mean, Dancing with the Stars helped dramatically because a good friend of mine, Len Goodman, was involved in that, and really we found it a great way to publicize how much fun dancing can be and how good it can be in many ways, socially and health-wise. So that promoted the Dance Vision national company. They've been in business since '91, and they've been developing and promoting dance all over those years, along with several other major companies in USA. And now, of course, we're very lucky to be in a position where we've become Texas master franchisors for Dance Vision, and we're developing the franchise network here.
Yeah, John, congratulations on your success, and I know you're popping up studios all over the state of Texas. We caught a nice piece that was done about you a few years ago in Houston. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
If you are a Dancing with the Stars fan, then you know that the cantankerous yet charming judge Len Goodman's all over it.
Well, a few local dancers say that Houston has its own version of the British gent. Eyewitness News reporter Rebecca Spira went to judge for herself.
Dancing was a no-brainer for John Elsbury.
The truth is, at 14, I noticed girls, and in the ballroom and Latin classes, there were 17 girls and 2 boys.
Years later, Latin and ballroom dancing became his career.
As a competitor, I danced all over the world with my partner.
Back then, Elsbury worked alongside Dancing with the Stars' Len Goodman.
I've known Len 35 years. I've judged with him all over the world. The only thing I would say is, of course, I'm far better looking than Len, you know.
Today, Elsbury owns 2 dance studios in the Houston area. His focus is on teaching others his passion.
Now here, bomb, but really dancing is feeling it. It's moving to music.
Diane Byers and Marianne Tucker have danced with Elsbury for years.
He is always telling us what we need to work on, what we have mastered.
If you're a little off, John can certainly spot what you're off on and fix it for you, and hope that you can fix it.
Elsbury is currently using his judging skills to prep both women for competitions.
I'm a bit tougher as a judge, I'm afraid.
My least favorite thing they do is like they'll imitate what I'm doing, which is not always pretty.
I'm looking for them to be technically correct and dancing very much as a couple together.
Both of these women say they're proof that anyone can learn to dance.
Didn't start ballroom dancing till I was 54, so yeah, it's never too late.
Rebecca Spira, 13 Eyewitness News.
Wow, what a nice piece. Okay, I'm sure there are people watching this right now who say, yeah, but you're either born a dancer or you're not. And can you teach pretty much anybody to dance?
Yes, without a doubt. When people come in the studio and they say, well, you know, do you think I can learn? If they can walk in the studio, they can learn. If they have a natural talent for it, they're going to become very good dancers. But even with no ability prior to that, if they come in the studio, we teach a very systematic way. Foundation, only steps.
Yes.
We don't do anything. They get patterns, then they get lead and follow, and then they get the musicality. And It's like building a house. If you build it in a structured way, learning's easy.
Sure.
If you throw it at someone all in one go, we try and put our roof on before we put the walls up, disaster.
Okay, what percentage of your students would you say are young couples learning to dance so they can have their first dance at their wedding?
Probably 20%. Most of our studios do 100 to 150 first dances every year. That's the bulk of the younger people in their 20s through to 30s. And then in the 40s to 60s, the mums and dads who are no longer chauffeurs to the kids suddenly find they have time to do things together. And what can you do together?
Yes.
Well, you can come out and dance, be in each other's arms, move to the music, relax, meet new people. It's great.
And it's a great way to build confidence. We've got some video, and I want you to kind of narrate this, because when you become very, very good, you can actually compete at a national level. What are we watching here?
This is a competition organized by Dance Vision National within their group of companies. And this is the Emerald Ball. This is probably one of the two biggest competitions in the country at the moment. Super competition in Los Angeles each year. And some dancers, many dancers, perhaps 90%, 95%, really are in a situation where what they want to do is have fun with their partner or meet new people and just move around the floor to enjoying the music. 5 to 10% get to a point where they want to take it more seriously.
Sure.
And there's a huge, people don't realize the subculture of competitive dancing. National Dance Council of America authorize 140 competitions a year under their auspices. And basically, in those competitions, there's 3 or 4 each weekend across the country where these dancers will come out and compete. And the Emerald Ball is a great example of that.
Sure.
And then they take it more seriously. The girls get the wonderful dresses.
Yes. Well, I have to imagine, so if I was good at the piano, I would love to go to a party and see a empty piano, because if I was really good at it, I could change the whole room. I've watched some video. We're going to put this up on the screen. I think this was just a social occasion. Is it always fun to just get out on the dance floor and know that you're the best dancer in every room?
Well, I'm not sure about the best dance in every room, but I think it's always fun to get up and dance, to be able to move to the music. To be honest, you don't need to be the best dancer. You need to be able to dance the steps to all of the different dances, to have enormous fun, and really be in a position where any lady, it's like with the first dances, couples come in and say, just teach me a first dance. And I say, well, no, do some other dances as well, because otherwise you'll do a wonderful first dance, and then Auntie Mary will come up and say, oh, will you dance with me? You were wonderful.
Sure.
And you'll have to say, well, do you know my wedding dance? You know, this is, you know, it's good to know 2 or 3 dances, swing, foxtrot, These dances for social events, for weddings, for business functions, it's a big advantage.
Yeah, and I can only imagine not just the health benefits for the cardiovascular system, it helps the mind. We found another great news story. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Health news now. There are 5.5 million people with Alzheimer's in this country, and that number is expected to triple over the next few decades.
And while there is no cure, there may be a non-drug therapy that can slow the brain-robbing disease. CBS 2's Dr. Max Gomez tells us it is dancing.
That's right. It sounds simple, but there's actually some very serious neuroscience behind this. If you think about it, dancing involves hearing, vision, motor skills, memory, remembering dance steps, and emotions of the music you danced to as a younger person. Activating all those brain circuits could be important. Okay, it's not exactly an Arthur Murray dance class, but the ladies gently stepping out at the Bristol Assisted Living Center at Lake Success on Long Island are part of an important study into whether dance can have a beneficial impact on Alzheimer's disease. The person who makes it happen is Cecilia Fontanesi, a PhD student in neuroscience and a trained dance therapist. She explained to me how important her eye contact and facial expressions are to connecting with the residents.
I just mirror people naturally. We call mirroring, and is a nonverbal sign of you are seen, I'm with you, I'm listening.
The Bristol Center is a memory care home that is partnering on the study with the Feinstein Institute for Medical Research at Northwell Health. The study compares the residents who take dance therapy with those who don't. There's a battery of tests at 3-month intervals to measure the participants' cognitive function. Dr. Peter Davies, a director of the Feinstein Institute's Litwin-Zucker Center for Alzheimer's Disease and Memory Disorders, says there's a strong reason to believe that dance can help.
Looking at the instructor, the music, you have to think to some extent about how to move, and of course memory, if the music's appropriate.
And integrating those varied brain circuits may make the difference, and if not, the residents had fun.
My thing is what I feel. That I can do something a little different is wonderful.
Now, there's no cure for Alzheimer's, and the medications that are out there have very limited impact on the disease. So anything that can slow the disease or even improve function somewhat can be a huge boon to patients and their families and caregivers. And unlike drugs, no bad side effects to dancing.
No, just a lot of smiling.
As long as you don't mind embarrassing yourself like I would if I were trying to dance. But other than that,
Come on. I think you're being a bit humble there.
You're a little harsh to dance. All right.
And I think that's so powerful, John, because I've seen stories about music therapy that you could go into the Alzheimer's unit of a nursing home, and somebody who can't remember their own daughter's name, you put on some Elvis, and suddenly they can sing every word. What have you found with dancing and people with early onset dementia?
Well, we were first introduced to this about 12 years ago because Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York just published a study which we and many other people sent contributions to. They've just published this in the New England Journal of Medicine. It was a couple of years ago. And showing the benefits of various hobbies and sports on Alzheimer's. And dancing was way in front. And since then, we've had a small number. I mean, you and I are actually doomed because we've had 3 ladies bring their husbands in. The girls are fine, but it's us that are in trouble. But we've had 3 ladies in, bringing their husbands regularly. One of them has shown quite a definite improvement. She's really happy. The other 2 are holding their own. And we have no medical knowledge. We just teach them dancing.
Yes.
But apparently, the dancing uses all the parts of the brain, which is very beneficial to get everything. The researcher that I spoke to, he said, I said, it's got to be really simple. And he said, if you don't use it, you lose it. And
that's powerful.
And he said that basically, as we get older, brain cells die. It's just a reality. The neuroconnectors, synapses stop working, and they stop working because of lack of use, in his opinion. So really, the message is keep working, keep, and even if you retire, make sure it's a retirement that's full of dancing, which would be good.
Absolutely.
That would be excellent. And we've had fine results from it. But as I say, it's only 3 couples, but I know other studios across the country are also doing exactly the same.
Wow. Well, you have certainly inspired me. I might have to get back out there and dust off those dancing shoes. But in the little time we have left, John, if somebody is watching this right now and they want to get involved, or they want to maybe have mom and dad come and get some lessons, how do they plug in?
They could go to our website if there's a studio near our dancevisiontexas.com. They could see where our studios are. There are dance studios right across Texas, right across the country. Many very, very reputable and high-level studios. My only advice would be make sure the teachers are qualified. It's very important that the teachers know what they're doing, and in Europe it's necessary. We take a first-level degree exam with first aid and a whole range of different things to get our qualification and then build from there. In America at the moment, there's a little problem. You could come for a lesson one week and the next week open a studio.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's not regulated, and even well-meaning people can do a lot of damage in there, because we're asking people to use their bodies, and lower back injuries are possible. So make sure the teachers are qualified, but there's wonderful studios right across Texas that they can get involved in.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to end with the website, which is dancevisiontexas.com. The great John Elsbury. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.